right, studio time check says it's 35 minutes past 6 a.m. Today's the 25th day in September of 2025. Good morning to you, dear listener. Thank you for tuning to Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, where we take a look, at wholesome content. We have wholesome content steadily available for you. Whatever age group you fall into, whatever strata in society you fall into, best believe that there's a program for you right here on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. All right, good morning once again, and thank you for tuning in this morning. The program is Perspectives Unlimited, where we take a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the dailies in the country. Okay, I'll start by saying that Wells Radio is located along Alaafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. That's where we're broadcasting from. And I'd like you to follow us on social media. Find us on Facebook at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. While you're doing that, also like our pages on Instagram and X at Wells Radio 893. And I hope you know that you can listen to us via our website. So if you're not in Ibadan at the moment, you don't have your radio set or the battery is dead, charge it. But while charging it, you can still listen with your phone by going to www.wellsradio893.com. Or you can, find us on radiogarden.com, onlineradiobox.net, or just Google Wells Radio 89.3 FM and you'll see how you can listen to us. Good morning once again. My name is Bolanle. Oduekun-Ayoola. And this morning, the program is Perspectives Unlimited. We're taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in the country. Okay, we're going to be taking a look at how the headlines are going this morning, and we're going to be having discussions on it. Obviously, I'm not going to do that alone. I'll bring in my analyst shortly. But this is just to let you know that you can watch us live this morning on our Facebook page at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. You can watch us live. So just go on Facebook. And just to show that, you're able to watch us, just click on the like button. Click on the like button. It helps me know that you're watching. And you might as well put where you're watching from, okay? Your name and where you're watching from. And, of course, your comments on our conversations this morning. But let's start with the headlines while you do that. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the lead headline says federal government moves to restart oil exploration in Ogoniland. Tinubu directs Ribadu on Niger Delta peace development. Confers national honors on murdered Ogoni 4, 31 years after. That story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. UNGA reform or risk irrelevance, Tinubu tells UN and world leaders, gives reasons why demand for seat in UN's Permanent Security Council timely. Positions Nigeria's mineral wealth, economic reforms as blueprints for Africa. That story is on page 4. 24 hours to coronation. Prominent Nigerians converge on Ibadan at lecture in honor of 44th Olubadan. Emergence of Ladoja will modernize Ibadan, says Falola. Separate tradition from politics, Obasanjo advises new Oba. And upgraded Ibadan Airport welcomes first flight as Tinubu's advanced team arrives. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. More headlines. 2 killed, 6 abducted in Kwara bandit attacks. That's on page 27. More headlines. Osun government tells finance minister not to release local government funds to APC members' account. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. On the front page of the Guardian newspaper, the lead headline says political parties or SPVs row over rights, multiple dormant parties as INEC considers 14 more. That's on page 6. More headlines. NSIB links Abuja Kaduna train derailment to poor maintenance. That's on page 30. LASG deploys survey to manage HIV spread and treatment. That's on page 7. Federal government renews commitment to ending torture, upholding human rights. That's on page 30. Oborewari Momodu Mon as Oscar Ibru dies at 67. That's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. 2027, Atiku courts Southwest votes, pledges to unite Nigeria. That's on page 3. Tinubu summons Ibas to Aso Villa amidst financial probe. That's on page 3. We'll also see this. Reps raise panel to monitor Tinubu's Naira for crude policy. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, NNPCL secures 318 billion Naira to fund new oil exploration. FAAC subcommittee probes spending for frontier exploration. Budget office warns Nigeria losing 60% of oil income. National oil firm pays zero dividends to Federation accounts despite 1.06 trillion naira profits. Experts push private exploration. You'll find that on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Okay, Olubadan. Oyo gears up for historic coronation. Ladoja celebrates 81st birthday today, remains in seclusion for traditional rites. Ibadan Airport reopens as Tinubu's advanced team VIPs arrive. Hotels fully booked. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. More headlines. A motorist stranded as flood overruns Lagos communities, okay? And we also, I think that's about it this morning on the dailies we're taking. So it's just for us to get into the dailies on Perspectives Unlimited. You're welcome again. And I'll bring in my analyst at this point, Mr. Olaliko Sani. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, madam.
How do you do? Now, what would you do, if you got a national honor now, say CON, ON, MON?
At this particular point in time, trust me, I'm going to reject it.
Any reasons?
It's solely because of the way in my opinion, the way the current administration is treating the people. You cannot be treating us poorly and now single some of us out for elevated roles. And in all seriousness, I like the fact that you are talking about this morning. Have you wondered why the immediate past head of Afrexim Bank was awarded a GCON? The guy's name is Benedict Orama. He just left as the head of Afrexim Bank and he was awarded GCON. I mean, that's the second highest award in the country after that of the president, GCFR. Another person just left AFDB, African Development Bank. He was not given even MON or MFR. Another person was given GCON. Do you know the reason for that? I'll tell you. When this administration came on board, they borrowed $3.3 billion from Afrexim Bank. And in my opinion, that's the greatest heist in the history of this country. We are not going to repay using cash. Rather, we are going to repay using crude oil. And we are going to give Afrexim Bank, well, not directly Afrexim Bank, but we are going to be repaying using 90,000 barrels of crude oil per day. If you go by the current rate of crude oil, we are talking about using over $11 billion to repay a loan of $3.3 billion. Guess what? Nigeria will not be paying directly to Afrexim Bank. Rather, Nigeria will be paying to a company registered in the Bahamas. It is that company that will collect the oil from Nigeria, convert it to money, and now send to Afrexim Bank. That is classic fraud. And guess what? The guy was rewarded with a GCON. That tells you that these things are not for people who are upright, in my opinion. It's for people who can do their dirty deals. And for that reason, count me out.
That's a deep one. It was actually just a light-hearted question, but
nothing is
light-hearted, anymore at this point. All right, let's get into the dailies this morning.
Let's go ahead.
Now, what made me ask that question was that the president honored gave posthumous awards to the slain Ogoni 4. There's the National Honors of Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON, to Albert Bade, Edward Kobani, Theophilus Orage, and Samuel Orage, popularly remembered as the Ogoni 4.
Let me even comment on that particular point. These guys were not fighting for any CON, CFR, whatever they want to say. These guys were fighting over the degradation of their land. that Shell in particular was destroying their ancestral land in the name of oil exploration. Today, you cannot do farming in Ogoni. You cannot do fishing in Ogoni. And Ogoni is a traditional fishing community. The bedrock of their society has been destroyed. You are not talking about holding Shell responsible for what Shell has done in that place. You as a government, you are not doing anything. I should tell you something, madam. I'm not very sure of what it is today, but at least 4 years ago, no matter the level of oil, what's it called, leakage you may cause, spillage, God bless you, all you are supposed to pay the federal government is 1 million naira. 1 million naira. BP, British Petroleum, they did something similar in the United States of America, around the Gulf of Mexico. Guess what? The US fined them $130 billion. Not just that, they asked the company to clean everywhere. Each and every millimeter of that particular area was thoroughly cleaned by BP. After that, the company was fined $130 billion. In my own country, all you have to pay is 1 million naira. I can tell you that 1 million naira today is not even up to $700. And instead of coming up with reforms that will fix the system, why do I have to have a team that will be checking my pipelines when I know too well that no matter what happens, all I have to pay the government is $600? I don't have to have a team to do that. Let the government tell me whenever there is oil spillage from my pipeline, and I'll give them $600. That is not how to grow a country. Bring out a very, very, very thorough fine that once your pipeline drops a drop of oil, you are paying $1 billion. Trust me, it will not happen again. But $600, I think they're going to take you seriously. I am not interested in whatever honor they want to give the dead. These guys died fighting for their land. Fix that land and ensure that what they died for doesn't happen again. That is how to fix the system.
All right, thank you so much for that. Now, the president okaying, because that's where the story is going to. The president then okayed oil exploration to kickstart again in Ogoni land. And on the other hand, giving a posthumous award to these four men that died, 4 community leaders who died. Let's not forget the 9 others who were also, killed after that. Of course, there's a whole lot of controversy in between all of that, but let's not go there. Now, the president on one hand saying, let's continue all exploration, right? But on the other hand saying, these guys are heroes because that's what it means when they get the award. Now, does it go hand in hand with, what these people are fighting for?
Not at all. Not at all. When they were alive, the government of that period called them multiple times to Abuja. They did not go because they knew too well that if they went to Abuja, it would have been a case of, okay, take this award or take this briefcase, and they didn't do that. Rather, they kept fighting for their land. Over 30 years after, what killed them still exists in their land. You are not talking about. The immediate past administration awarded a contract of $1 billion to clean the same Ogoni land. Nothing has been done till this very present day. This administration is not seeing to that. Was the money disbursed? Was it embezzled again? If it wasn't disbursed, okay, disburse the money and clean that place. If you clean the place today, nobody is going to talk to you as regards not exploring. That is it. But you are not doing the right thing. Rather, you want to, do window dressing by making the people believe that you have for them, when in reality, even the people who are getting, they must have, decomposed wherever they may be. And you are now saying that, for that reason, it's all about oil. It's all about oil. That is just the
Now,
point.
now, I know that one of the reasons for the decision back then was that the people were not involved in these things, and they didn't have a say, saying that foreign corporations backed by the Nigerian government came to take their wealth, leaving them with nothing, in fact
In
less
fact,
than nothing, because their major means of livelihood, which was fishing, had to go, and so these monies were not also now being they were not part of people getting the money. Now, according to this story, the government has said they should have, community engagements, and to see how there's a particular word I'm looking for here. The people's demands for structured participation in oil production, renewed environmental cleanup, and a framework for sustainable development. Can't we believe that the government, actually plans to make true on this?
thank you. If they are serious about this, the very first thing to do is to demonstrate your seriousness by doing the things that they asked you to do. I have been to that region. I don't know if you have been to that region before. All what the native people do there is to open gate, close gate, do menial jobs for them. In terms of what really matters, I mean, you won't find people from that community there. Rather, I mean, we have a very, very, very terrible structure on the ground. What our government encourages is, in fact, the government even engages in it, is to pay those who are vocal. They call it pipeline protection, whatever. I think the name is PINL. I've forgotten the full meaning. They give them contracts to secure pipelines. And that is what my government calls domestic, or should I say home participation. That is not. Because these are national assets. And it's the duty of the Nigerian government to secure national assets. What we are talking about, I mean, you said that oil, fishing has to go. In all seriousness, fishing doesn't have to go if you are exploring oil. That is, if you are doing it properly.
The right way.
The right way.
So now, in this, moving on with oil exploration that the government is, so one of the things that we probably have to tell the government, or ensure that they look into, is that this exploration has to be done properly after the environmental cleanup.
Yes, the very first thing to do, if the government is serious, the very first thing to do is to clean the land. If you are serious, clean the land. After cleaning the land, now come up with laws that will discourage oil exploration companies from destroying the land again. And it's not that difficult. Let there be a very stiff penalty. Should you do this, this is the penalty. Trust me, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen because they are going to invest in it. But in my own country, $600, 1 million naira. Even if you create oil spillage from here to Lagos, for as long as it's just one pipeline that got ruptured, you are paying no more than 1 million naira. I think these people are going to take you seriously. How much is 1 million naira today? That is the problem. These are the things that we need to fix. But the government is not interested in fixing that. Rather, it's just about exploring and exploring and exploring without caring about the land. Saying that you are going to do the right thing after exploration is a very good way to say, oh, subsidy is gone, you are going to be fine. At the end of the day, we all know where we are. If you are serious, put the necessary arrangements on the ground first. Then you now start exploration. If these people are very sure that, okay, you have cleaned their land and they can see the new policies that you have come up with, nobody is going to say don't explore, because they know too that once they begin to explore, it's going to be more money for the system. If they have faith in you, that you are spending the money on you, they will be the one to say, I think that is a good idea, go and explore there. That's the point.
All right, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, that's the NUPRC, has dismissed the reports that alleged that Nigeria lost 8.41 trillion naira to oil theft between 2021 and 2025, insisting that crude oil losses have dropped by more than 90% over the period. The head of Media Strategic Communications, in a statement, described the report published by one of Nigeria's dailies on Wednesday, that's yesterday, as a misrepresentation of official data. So according to the NUPRC, the figures cited were derived from a flawed methodology and incorrect exchange rate assumptions. Now, so basically they're saying, oh, the figures are not, what it is, but crude oil theft, which stood at 102,900 barrels per day in 2021, has dropped to 9,600 barrels per day in 2025. But Mr. Sani, in 2025, should we still be losing crude oil?
We should not be losing crude oil
Especially
whatsoever.
seeing as the government of the day, well, would like say hired a private,
There are so very many of them, not
yeah,
just one.
to take a look at
So,
it and
so, so,
convinced us
so,
that
so
it
very
will be
many of them.
better.
The truth of the matter is this. Let's get serious, madam. Many people from that part of this country do not even know what crude oil looks like until there is spillage. Do you think it's easy to do bunkering? It is not. Some of the vessels used to carry this particular thing could be as big as 100, 200 meters.
And they're not cheap.
And what?
I said, and they're not cheap.
They're not cheap. If you want to buy, they are extremely expensive. If you want to hire it, they go for over $1 million per week. Can you and I afford that? That's number one. Even if we can afford it, can we bring it into our waters without the government knowing? I'm not interested in this talk of somebody is stealing crude or somebody is not stealing crude. We all know who is stealing crude.
Well, I don't know.
I see. The truth of the matter is this. Let's get serious, madam. It's not a thing that a small boy can do. People from that particular region have come out to say that those who steal crude live in Ikoyi, they live in Maitama in Abuja. And it's true. The networking that you must dip your hands into before you can do that is not something that just anybody can come by. You must know everybody. There is the Nigerian Navy, there is NEMASA, there is Army, there is NNPC, there is NUPRC, there is NPA. Can just the son of Mr. Nobody check all those lists? It's not possible. It is not possible. So please, let's not. That is a very good way to divert our attention this morning. People who are stealing crude know themselves. Let me now tell you something, madam. They are saying that we are no longer losing crude.
Yeah, we're not losing as much as we used to.
What I'm saying is this. For August, they said we produced around 1.5 million barrels of crude. That is what OPEC can measure as regards what came out of Nigeria. 2013, 2014, are you aware that we were doing 2.3 million barrels per day? So where is 800,000 barrels?
Maybe we're not doing as much as we used to.
Why are we not doing as much as we used to? That's the point. 12 years ago, we were doing 2.3 officially. Today, after, nobody is stealing crude anymore, or at least nobody is stealing as they used to steal. It's just 9,000 barrels a day. There is 800,000 barrels gap. No, we are not foolish in this country. They may be, but I am not. And I know you are not. And I know you are not.
All right, before we take a short break this morning, yesterday we heard from Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan saying she will not be apologizing to her colleagues in the Senate if that was the condition for unsealing her office and letting her into the premises. She still continues to describe her suspension by the Senate as illegal. She's saying that if they're waiting for her to apologize, there's gonna be a long fight ahead. It's gonna be a long day ahead. Okay, that her suspension remains illegal. She stated that she learned that part of the conditions she would have to fulfill for being allowed in would be to tender an apology, but she would never succumb to that. We'll see how it goes in the days ahead, but we'll take a short break on Perspectives Unlimited. When we come back, we'll take a look at what the president, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the United Nations General Assembly, said. So don't go anywhere. Please stay with us.
FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The general public is hereby advised to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Verify the licensing status of such schemes on these websites: www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng, www.fsrcc.gov.ng. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call CBN 0817 665 7060, 0707 338 4828, SEC 0209 462 1168. Announcer, FSRCC.
Are you looking to farm but don't know what's profitable and fast to plant? Do you want a business that brings results and income quickly? Then cucumber is the answer. And Wells Radio 89.3 FM, in conjunction with Olat Farms, is here to show you how. Join our 2-day practical cucumber farming training, October 17 and 18 from 11 a.m. daily at Wells Radio 89.3 FM off Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. For just 30,000 naira, you will learn site selection, land preparation, open field cultivation, pest control, irrigation, marketing strategies, and more. Grow smarter, harvest bigger with West Radio and All At Farms. Register today. Send "I am interested in cucumber training" to 0813 864 2544 or 0803 509 3394. Don't wait. A healthy harvest starts with the right knowledge.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go!
Hey there! Want to stay connected to your favorite radio station? Follow us on social media for the latest updates, entertaining wholesome content, and behind-the-scene peaks. We're on Instagram at Wells Radio 893, Facebook Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, X Wells Radio 893. Follow our WhatsApp channel Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Get a scoop on upcoming shows, giveaways, and events. Also get to interact with your favorite presenters and share your thoughts on our posts and stories. Join the conversation and stay tuned into Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
And it sounds the big one.
All right, you're welcome back. Studio time check says it's 4 minutes past 7 a.m. on Perspectives Unlimited this morning, right here on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. We're still taking a look at headlines and stories that are making the rounds across the different dailies in the country. Now, just yesterday, Vice President Kashim Shettima, on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, delivered Nigeria's, more like midnight, yesterday to today, at the ongoing 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Amongst other agendas, President Tinubu, through the Vice President, demanded that the UN include Nigeria as a permanent member. He urged for countries hosting strategic minerals to fairly benefit from them through investment, local processing, and job creation. I have the full text, but, some of the things was that obviously Nigeria should join the Committee of Nations in congratulating that Nigeria congratulates the Madam President of the General Assembly. Also that the anniversary should be a moment, of truth, to see how they could have done better in turning values into action. Also it spoke about nuclear disarmament, proliferation of small arms, Security Council reform, fair access to trade and finance, saying that they are stains on our collective humanity. Also says that the slow pace of progress on some issues at the United Nations General Assembly debate, has led some to look away from the multilateral model. It says that Nigeria remains firmly convinced of the merits of multilateralism, but to sustain that conviction, we must show that existing structures are not set in stone, saying that, of course, taking the change mantra to the United Nations. Also, he said that Nigeria must have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council, saying that we need urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing, that countries that host minerals must benefit from those minerals, the digital divide must close. He says AI must stand for Africa included. Also says that the United Nations will recover its relevance only when it reflects the world as it is and not as it was. That's, something about it. Just there's so many other things, obviously, but these are just like some of the major things that the president also said. He did also say that Nigeria is despised by terrorists because we choose tolerance over tyranny. He's saying that we don't only fight wars, we feed and shelter the innocent victims of war. They also spoke about the violence and aggression happening in Gaza, saying that they're against it. So many things were said, Mr. Sani. How far do you think this will go? Seeing as we're not even members of the United Nations General Assembly.
General Assembly, everybody, Security Council, and Security Council is what we do.
Security Council.
That's where we do not belong. See, the truth of the matter is this. Whoever wrote that speech deserves a knock on the head. You do not go to the general, and the person who read it also doesn't know what his problem is. The point is this. International relations, international politics, geopolitics, diplomacy, whatever you want to call it, is civilian war. You don't go there and ask for your fair share. You go there to grab your fair share. You conduct diplomacy, international politics from two angles. Number one, the area of strength. I have this, don't test me. That is number one. Number two is that you go there to say, okay, in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this is how far I have been able to take my country. Of course, Nigeria could be strong. Nigeria was designed by God to be strong, but currently saying we are strong is just a very good way to say, oh, I want to puff myself up. We are not. That is it. Nigeria has all the minerals in the world, and the president, represented by the vice president, went to the UN General Assembly to still ask companies that are going to come to Nigeria to make sure that what belongs to Nigeria works for Nigeria. Are you kidding me? What's the meaning of that? I mean, how can you rationalize that? It's not making sense. It is your thing. You determine how you want to use it. The UN is not going to tell you that, oh, you must cede your minerals to whichever country. You are the ones that will sit down and set the pace, draw a chart. This is how you want to move. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, whoever wrote that thing embarrassed Nigeria. And the person who read it too clearly doesn't know what he is doing. Because in all seriousness, nothing there is making sense. I don't regard the UN General Assembly. And that's the truth, madam. Rather, you do your thing from your home. When you do your thing from your home, then you now go there to say, okay, this is what.
So you're saying that power is not given,
it's not given, it's taken. And God designed this country to be powerful. You don't draw, you don't articulate foreign policy from outside. You do it from within. What you throw into the global community is what they are going to react to. Not that you now go there to say, okay, give us an outline of how to run our foreign policy. That's foolishness. And in all seriousness, I am disappointed in whoever wrote that thing and the person who went there to read it. That's
well,
let's
believe that the vice president was representing the president. Who knows what he's doing?
The president should have read it himself.
Who knows what he's doing? In putting out that speech. Before you go on, sir, let me put out the studio lines. You can join the conversation this morning by calling the studio lines at 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. We've been enjoying ourselves too much. I forgot to call out the studio lines. All right, so let's go ahead, Mr. Salim.
Nobody is going to leave his our own business and say, oh, okay, Nigeria is a great country. How can we help them? Great. Rather, they want to cheat you, and that is international politics, because international politics is an extension of war, and in war, nothing is fair. That's like that. You make yourself strong, then subsequently, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You find people to cheat. That is national politics. If you don't cheat somebody, they are going to cheat you. That's like that. I mean, is it the US that is not cheating?
So you have to take the first step.
You have to take the first step. If you're not taking the first step, you will be cheated badly. These people have been cheating us over and over. These oil companies belonging to these countries, they come here with little investment, and they take 40, sometimes 60% of our crude oil to their home country. And they begin to sell Nigerian crude grade. I mean, it's crazy. How can Shell have more Nigerian crude grade than the Nigerian government? Nigerian crude grade is such that it is sought all over the world. The sulfur level is extremely low. And apart from the fact that the sulfur level is low, if you refine it, you are going to get more gasoline, more diesel, things that are moving fast. You are going to get more of that than any other crude in the world. And if you need that today, chances are that Shell has more of it than the Nigerian government. How does that make sense? How exactly does that make sense? It doesn't make sense.
Now, amongst that's just some of the things that we're speaking about. Amongst that, the things that were hammered on was sovereign debt relief. The speech says that we need urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief. Saying that so that countries don't choke, under heavy debts. But is that us asking for handouts?
No, wait. It's a very good way to tell the whole world that we are not serious. You sat down on your own to come and borrow money. When you were borrowing money, you were using it to do whatever you wanted to do then. Investment in your country, larceny, that's what we have seen in our country, pilfering. When you are now feeling like, okay, the weight is killing you, you are now saying, yo, forgive me, clear my debt, forgive me. Let's believe I'm not owing you. Didn't you collect money? I don't believe in debt relief. If you are borrowing money, You are borrowing money because you need money. You need that value at that particular point in time. You must repay. Should Nigeria be a country that should be borrowing? No. God didn't design Nigeria to borrow. But because of the fact that we have bad managers and, in all seriousness, thieves, we now borrow. Now, okay, we have borrowed so much within a very short period of time. I challenge anybody to tell me what we have done with what we have been borrowing. Nothing.
Let's move on to other things that we talked about.
But I want to say something about FIRS. The FIRS boss said something on Monday, and that thing got me totally angry. He was at the villa, and journalists were asking him questions. Once the president said that we have already accrued our expected revenue for the year, why then are we still borrowing? And he was saying, oh, no, it's not like that. If you plan to spend 100,000, in his words, he used 100,000, that your expected revenue is 70,000. If you want to reach the 100,000, then you have to borrow 30,000 extra to meet the 100,000 that you plan to spend for the year. And mind you, when government borrow money from banks, banks are going to put interest on it, and from that interest, they are going to pay their staff. That's very foolish. Number one, you plan to spend 100,000 for the year. In the month of August, you have already received, in terms of revenue, what you plan to support the budget with from the green side, revenue generated. At that particular point, you need to halt borrowing, because you are still making money. August, you have already reached the target for money you want to generate for the whole year. Instead of borrowing more money, why not use the money that you are going to get for the month of September, October, November, and December to replace that of debt? No, these guys are not doing that. They are going to make more money from us in the name of revenue, and they are still going to borrow money that they planned to borrow at the beginning of the year. How does that make sense? And what he was saying that, banks, are we operating Nigeria for the sake of banks?
And let's not forget that one of the reasons why Nigeria is so neck deep in debt is because of this exorbitant interest rates that we're paying, and so we're having to a big chunk of our budget is going to servicing money that we owe.
If I'm not mistaken, just 2 days ago they said that if Nigeria is earning 100 naira today, Nigeria is spending 69 naira to service our debt.
All right, let's move on to some other things that we talked about. Also, he talked about that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine. Do you agree with this?
Fortunately, I agree with them on one topic. Out of so very many topics you have highlighted, the only solution to the crisis in the Middle East, especially the one that concerns Israel and Palestine, is a two-state solution. Anything short of that is waste of time. And it's not just what I am saying. It is what everybody is saying, apart from Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. Every other person is saying that. France, the UK, in fact, Germany is saying that, okay, at some point they are going to recognize the Palestinian state.
Yeah, so many countries have also
Portugal,
the UK,
Australia, Canada.
France is on its way.
France has done that already. It's Germany that is on its way. Germany and Italy, those two they are going to do that very soon. That's the only thing. These two don't share anything apart from that space. They are not identical. They don't speak the same language. They have nothing in common. They cannot operate under the same country. That is just the truth, madam. Day or day, madam. That's the only thing I can help.
All right, thank you so much. And now let's move to other things this morning. Yesterday, the sole administrator of Rivers State, and this is a reminder to our listeners, you can join the conversation this morning. Never mind that Mr. Sani and I seem to just be having a conversation here. You can be a part of the conversation by calling us 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333 893. These are the numbers to call. If your call doesn't come through, please send a WhatsApp message to 0915 4999 893 0915 4999 893, or just drop a message on our Facebook fan page. We're currently live and we'll definitely read it out. Now, yesterday, the Aso Villa received the immediate past River State Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibo-Ete-Ibas, retired. He was received by President Bola Tinubu in company of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, as well as the Chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoyede. Apparently yesterday they said he walked into the Aso Rock and came out shortly after, only to come back with a file, to show how serious things were. Now, Mr. Sani, over the past couple of days, many people have said, he should account for his spendings during that 6 months, especially because he got a large amount of money as a budget for that 6 month period. While some people notably have also said, well, he's a military man. Do you expect, have you ever seen any military person, give account? I'm saying this in the words of some of our callers, that, have you ever seen any military person give account, and made mention of some people. Go and ask them, in the time of this person, when this person was also suspended, would the military administrator, give account? And Ibo-Ete-Ibas, through one of his special advisors, then said that he doesn't owe anything, he doesn't owe any form of accountability to anyone except for the person who appointed him. Are we seeing that it's possible that the president may ask him to give account, especially seeing the people he was in company with at the Aso Rock, the coordinating minister of the economy, the minister of finance, and the chairman of the EFCC?
It's not just unpatriotic to say that, he should not give account of his stewardship because he was in uniform. It's also dumb to say that, he should not be called to come and give account of his stewardship. Even during the era of the military, people were still facing military trial then for corruption. According to Babangida, of course, everybody knows who he is, but he said something that he sacked a military governor
Let's take this
because he stole 300,000 naira.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. You're going to have to speak up a bit. Your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning to you, woman. This is Benga Mario calling from Apata.
You're welcome, Mr. Mario. Please go
Thank
ahead.
you. Mr. Sonny, please, you have to speak up because we can hardly hear you when you are making the analysis.
Oh, okay. We'll look into that. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Now, I think on the issue of the FRS, I think FRS is a body of government who I can tag an avenue for government to make money to themselves and garner money just for the use of government, and that one does not extend to commoners. Such one does not extend to we Nigerians. I'm telling you, if you know how much FRS, how much they are accruing on a monthly basis, on a bi-monthly basis, you be marvel. Custom alone, in some few months back, I read a report that custom generated over 26 point something billion in a month. And FRS as well, if you see those guys are working in FRS, I know someone that knows someone who is working in FRS. Those people they live an extravagant life because they have an access to cool cash. Do you know that as we speak today, Nigeria is not getting money from crude again, from oil again. Nigeria is getting each part of its money from tax. It's getting part of each of its money from services rendered. That is, and now FRS that ought to be a kind of ought to be a kind of agency that will salvage this economy. They are telling us that they are telling Mr. President what they ought not to tell him. So FRS to us is not a blessing. Instead, FRS is a channel of wastage. That's my own opinion. And secondly, on the issue of IBAS, see, I'm not a fan of Tinubu. I'm not a fan of Atiku. I'm not a fan of Obi. But I'm a fan of a leader who will be able to who will govern such that an average leader will feel the impact of his governance. That is the kind of person the leader I follow. IBA's invitation by the president to Aso Rock, nothing will come out of it at all. I'm telling you. If only in a normal thing, if you are really truly practicing democracy, as you speak, Ibas should not be moving freely as you speak. Instead, you should have been seated in a room, asking they should be probing him to give an account of how far he has spent the money given to him, over 240 billion that was given to him in the space of 6 months. He governed as the governor in Rivers State. But what do we see? Like what the report my honorable madam there read a while ago. She said he went to meet with the president, and by the time he was coming out, he was coming out with a file.
No. He came back. No. He went out and came back in with a file.
Okay. But the point I want to make is that nothing will be done in that regard. I'm telling you, because we are not practicing democracy. In a normal setup, Ibas, as we speak, should have been coughing out allegedly. Mark my word, allegedly, if he had siphoned some of the money for his own personal use, he must be coughing out the money as we speak. But in this country, that's why I'm seriously ashamed for our political our leaders, because they always cover up what they ought not to be covering up. After, let Ibas come and tell us how far he has spent the money given to him while he was the administrator in Rivers State. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mario, for your contributions. But if there's anything I'd like to say is that on issues like this, can we remain optimistic? Give the government a second chance of some sorts. Hello, good morning.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, West Radio.
Good morning to you, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Salami. I'm calling from Alton.
You're welcome, Mr. Salami.
Morning, sir.
Thank you very much for this. You see, for me, in fact, the story you read is that the president inviting Israel to actual work. Honestly speaking, I just made my case. It shows that if the president or probably some of his honest handlers are actually listening to our voices, the masses. Because this is what everybody has been craving for. Probe this man. And we are saying that. And you see, what I'm happy about this morning is that my mother has been calling themselves Cardinal Archbishop and what have you, that must not be true. That can't include anybody. That why are you calling for the probe of either the military person? The military person means that it's God. That this means is over. Dr. Bello has even proved the supposed cleric wrong by inviting people. Let's see what comes out of it. It shows the supporters is liquid. I'm not fine, though, but definitely with the step you have taken, I think it's commendable. Let's see what comes out of it. That is very much. So for some of the things that they're going on in the land, it's just anybody, the supporters is saying that speak true to the power. The truth we are saying that the supporters do the meeting. I think one of the meetings we are calling for. Invite people, let me give account. So that is just it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salami, for your contribution this morning. We don't have so much time anymore. I assume Mr. Sani probably has a lot to say, but we don't have time anymore on the show. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Meanwhile, ahead of the coronation of the 44th Olubad of Ibadan land, Obarashidi Landoja, tomorrow, September 26th, the Oyo State government has expressed its readiness to host the historic event. Also, security in town has been strengthened ahead of the expected arrival of President Bola Tinubu and other important dignitaries. Okay, so don't do anyhow. I think that's just how I'll put it. Please, let's maintain law and order to show people who are coming from outside that Ibadan is all it can be. And of course, stay tuned to Wells Radio 89.3 FM for commentaries on how the event will be going. We'll be commenting live from the studios tomorrow. Meanwhile, traffic advisory has been released regarding this event that is happening tomorrow. Okay, so please adhere. There's some places that you shouldn't be found tomorrow. This route will be closed from 7 a.m. tomorrow. The routes include Beret Junction, inwards Makbo Hall, Bonfoto Junction in Ward Ojaba, Idiarere Junction in Ward Ojaba, and Itameri Junction in Ward Makbo Hall. If you're going to the event, well, the parking slots, if you're invited, you can't get in without a valid invitation. The parking slots at Ibadan North Local Government Car Park in front of Immigration Office, Agodi, the football field beside Yemetu Police Station, and Liberty Stadium, Okay, Ado. That's how it's going to be tomorrow. And of course, a happy birthday to the Olubado in waiting. Thank you so much, Mr. Sani, for coming on the show.
It is always an honor to be here.
All right. And thank you so much, Ibadan, for tuning in to Perspectives Unlimited. And of course, to our listeners and viewers outside of Ibadan, Adeomi Kasim Adikas, thank you so much for your comment on Facebook. That's it. We sign out. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. Good morning to you, and I hope you have the best day yet. Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wells Radio 89.3 FM or its affiliated entities. Wells Radio 89.3 FM is committed to providing a platform for diverse perspectives and opinions, and the views expressed by guests on our programs are their personal viewpoints. Wells Radio 89.3 FM does not endorse or take responsibility for the content or opinions expressed by individual interviewees and callers. Thank you.